Good evening, everyone. It is 6 p.m., so we will start this regular board meeting of the Shawnee Mission School District. First order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance, and I am so happy to welcome from Highlands Elementary School, Principal Laura LaHue and students from Highlands Elementary School to lead us in our pledge this evening. Would you all please stand? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well done.
If you'd like to go to the mic and do any introductions, just go right behind there. You can. All the students can go with you too, if you want to.
Everyone else can sit down.
Everyone else can sit down. Yes. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having these wonderful students at Highlands. I am Laura LaHue, and I am the new principal this year at Highlands Elementary. We have fantastic students with us tonight. Our very youngest learner in the pre-K program, all the way up to our oldest learners, 6th graders. At Highlands, we soar, so that means we are safe, on task, responsible, and respectful, and these students work every single day to achieve those SOAR values. So let's give them a round of applause. Thank you.
My name is Oliver Weiss. And that's all I have to say.
Welcome, Oliver. Thank you. Anyone else want to do introductions? No? This is your big chance.
Hi, my name is Lillian Van Dorn. And what else do I say?
What grade?
Oh, I'm in 6th grade and I go to Highlands Elementary.
Wonderful. Anybody else? No pressure. No pressure.
My name is Sullivan. I'm in pre-K, and I'm 4 years old.
Oh. Anybody else? Any other takers? No big deal. Oh, okay.
Hang on one second. We're gonna...
I'm Maisie, and I'm in 3rd grade, and I'm from Highlands Elementary School.
Love it.
You can do it. You got it. You got it. Excellent.
I'm Kingston, I'm Kingston Van Doren, and I go to Highlands Elementary. Goodbye. No.
Awesome. Anybody else? Okay.
My name is Anna Williams, and I go to Highlands Elementary School, and I am in 4th grade, and I am happy to be here.
Oh, thank you very much. We're happy to have you. Is that everybody? I can't see past the podium. Oh, one more.
Hi, my name is Nora Ting, and I go to Highlands Elementary School.
Love it. Well, thank you so much, and we are so excited to see students back doing our Pledge of Allegiance. So thank you so much and thank you to the parents for supporting the kids and bringing them out tonight. We are so appreciative of it. So thank you. One more round of applause. Well, that was fun. So I'm in the seat tonight because Dr. Sinclair obviously isn't here. I forgot to announce that. So I am. It's been just a little bit of time since I've done this. So bear with me tonight. But I'm hoping that I'm back in the seat and remember what I'm doing. So okay. So we're going to move on to part 1 of our meeting tonight, which is the revenue neutral hearing. The Shawnee Mission School District intends to exceed the revenue-neutral tax rate, RNR, for the 2022-2023 school year as established by KSA 79-2988. Johnson County calculated the Shawnee Mission School District's RNR at a mill rate of 47.338. The district intends to exceed the RNR with an estimated mill rate of 49.332. The district's RNR, budget documents, and profile and needs assessment can be found on the district's website, under Budget and Finance. The purpose of Part 1 of the Board of Education meeting August 22, 2022 is to provide for a public hearing to consider exceeding the RNR. The Board of Education resolution on exceeding the revenue neutral rate will occur during Part 3 of the regular meeting as noted in the agenda. Okay, so this opens Part 1 of this meeting, the revenue neutral hearing. Do we have anyone who wishes to speak on this? And we have how many? 1, 2, 3 hands up, is that right? Okay, so this is a little bit different than our regular public comment, and because of the nature of the complexity of these issues and the nature of these issues, we're going to allow 5 minutes for each speaker to be able to speak to us and give us your testimony or whatever you'd like to do but just keep it to the subject of the revenue neutral hearing, please, because that's why we're here. So I do not have cards on anyone, so I'm just going to call. If you raise your hand, I'll just kind of point to how about the person in the black T-shirt. If you will also, because of public record, if you could state your name but also spell it, which is a little odd for tonight, but if you could spell it for our board clerk, that would be fabulous. So, and then 5 minutes on the clock, and welcome.
Thank you. My name is Rose Geringer, Gerringer. I live in the Shawnee Mission North attendance area. I've lived in the Shawnee Mission School District for 41 years. More than half of my ever-increasing property tax burden goes to various school district accounts. Now, less than 2 years ago, the board was given $250 million, that's $250 million bond issue. Residents are already suffering from a 9% inflation rate, and more public spending is going to increase inflation and drive our housing rates even higher. There will be no affordable housing in our area, especially for residents on fixed income who are being taxed out of their homes that they have spent decades living in and supporting the district with their taxes. The district website shows no details of the budget, actual line items. We need some transparency if you want us to allow you to increase our taxes again and again. I'd just like to know which of the board members would be brave enough to vote against the 7% tax increase and support the residents. I'll be interested to see the vote. Thank you.
Thank you for coming this evening. Okay, there was a second hand up. Okay, go ahead. Come on up. Yep. Welcome. And again, if you could state your name and also spell it for our board clerk.
I'm Debbie Detmer, D-E-T-M-E-R, and I live here in Shawnee, Kansas, and I've spoke here many times. I say no to any increase in taxes. We gave you over the $250 million. That was $264 million in January of 21 bond issue. And you still raised our taxes last year by a unanimous vote. Now you want another 7% increase. Your link to the budget pages gives no specifics on where your money is even being spent. There are consequences to your actions. You shut down the schools, your stringent, undependable COVID mitigations, the teachings of Marxism and theory and DEI and queer teachings that you spent over $450,000 on to indoctrinate our children and to provide mental decline to our children, actually. And as well, thousands of dollars are lost due to the students that have left Shawnee Mission School District for homeschooling and private schools due to your policies. Then we have lost great teachers that will not accept these policies. Your choices and your policies need to do businesses without revenue neutral and without increasing of our taxes. I do believe it's time for the money to follow the children, and it's probably time for the kids to leave the public schools. Thank you.
Thank you for coming this evening. Okay, and the last hand, yes, go ahead, come on up. Again, state your name, and if you could spell it, that would be wonderful.
Hello. My name is Carol Merritt, Merritt. 2 T's and 2 R's. Good evening, dear community members, and I give you all a pat on the back because it's hard work to do what you do. And I'm here to not complain, but to admonish and beg and plead for some things to change a little bit here. I'm a retired educator who taught beautiful children of all ages from kindergarten to 8th grade in the state of Kansas. I love them all very much. Also, long ago, my mother taught grades 1 through 8 in a one-room rural schoolhouse with no running water and an outhouse in western Kansas. One day, she had to kill a rattlesnake on the doorstep of the schoolhouse. She was a dedicated, strong woman. She showed me successful teaching requires courage and commitment. Even with a teeny tiny budget, she still managed to teach her students how to read, write, and many other outstanding results. However, she would be shocked to find the condition of today's schools. Now, Shawnee Mission School District schools are asking for big and bigger budgets each year with poor and disappointing results to justify it. Enrollment has declined, and we have given you $264 million in taxpayers' money in 2021. And taxes were raised again. We taxpayers want you to show your justification and reasons for these budget increases. Your increasing budgets are making our taxes even higher each year, which is making us feel real concern and uneasiness, very much so. We should learn from our history and our history books and about raising taxes. I was a history teacher for 10 years, American history and world history in junior high. We should learn from history. I'm teaching you just a little bit about history or reminding you tonight that high taxes bring instability to communities and nations. Remember how we formed our government? We were unhappy about the taxes that we were imposed upon by our dictator from the United Kingdom. We won a war, and we fought hard and long, and thank God we did, or we wouldn't have our Constitution. We wouldn't have a Magna Carta, which told King John no more taxes without him obeying the law. Raising taxes without good justification can only bring horrible calamity and instability. These unjustified tax waves are flooding our community, and our members are drowning in it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming this evening. Okay, I believe do we have any more speakers? I think that was it. Raise their hand. Okay. Oh, wait. Okay, we have one more. Again, if you could come forward and then give your name and spell your name, that would be wonderful. Thank you for coming this evening.
Yeah, I thank you too. My name is Laura Stack, Laura-Stack, and I live in Prairie Village. And I'm prompted here out of I didn't know I was coming, and I came. I just want to say that I could echo what these other people have said, because I didn't come prepared, but I do know that I am a longtime resident of Johnson County, and I have never had I'm not married, I don't have any children, and so when I realized that almost 2/3 of my taxes are being paid for the school district, I am wanting some accountability of how that money is being spent, and I can't seem to find it anywhere. And considering how many of my friends have taken their kids out of the school district to be able to homeschool them, I'm wondering how and why the school districts are doing this. And so I'm coming here more out of just wanting to be educated, because I have never had to be here before, but I'm very curious, because so many of my friends' families are up in arms and are very concerned about the schools. And I can't speak to it because I'm not, but I hear. And so because I'm hearing is why I came tonight. And like I said, I'd like to reiterate many of what these three women have said, because I came from a family of educators too, and they would be horrified, literally horrified at the way the school districts are being run. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just coming just because I'm here to just try to be more aware and awake to what's going on. And so if you all could easily help give me more information so that there would be reason to support you, I would welcome that, because I am a big person with being an advocate, but I'm mostly confused and would like for there to be clarification. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I reach out really quick to Dr. Hubbard or Mr. Knapp as to where the budget documents on the website could be found, the full budget documents with items?
Sure. Tonight, all the budget documents are attached to each action item on the board agenda, and then they live on our budget and finance page on the SMSD website. All the information that will be voted on for tonight, all those state documents and internal documents are located there.
Okay, so on the agenda tonight, attached to the agenda, plus they live on the SMSD website under the budget and finance area. So all the documents are already there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I would also add that tonight is really the finale, and it's the 5th meeting that we've talked about the budget. So if you wanted to go back and watch previous budget workshops, I believe they started in April. Our first one was in April.
Mm-hmm.
So we had one in April and May, and then several over the summer, and all of those are available on YouTube on our district website as well.
Okay.
Can I add one thing in terms of just documentation that's out there for folks? This is the first time we've been required to do this, but we have nearly 190 pages of needs assessments from each individual building. Each elementary school, each middle school, each high school has provided to the board and to district administration where their school is and what their needs are. So I want to kind of emphasize that there are, the actual budget document attached to item 11.04 is a 73-page summary of the budget, and there are 190 pages on the district website that explains how we arrived at the budget that we're bringing tonight, which did happen over the course of the summer.
Okay. Seeing as we have no more speakers, I will call the revenue 2.01 revenue neutral hearing closed, and then again, we will be voting on that later in the meeting. So now, part 2 of our meeting is our budget hearing. Hold on, let me get to that. Sorry, my computer has timed out. Budget hearing, okay. 3.01, the proposed district budget for the 2022-2023 school year has been prepared and distributed to the Board of Education members and is available to all interested patrons from the treasurer. The district's R&R budget documents and profile and needs assessment can be found on the district's website under Budget and Finance. The purpose of Part 2 of the Board of Education meeting August 22, 2022 is to provide for a public hearing on the proposed 2022-2023 budget as required by KSA 79-2929. Board of Education action on the proposed budget will occur during Part 3 of the regular meeting as noted in the agenda. Okay, so this opens then the Part 2, which is the budget hearing. Is there anyone wishing to speak to the budget? Okay. Seeing no hands go up, then that concludes Part 2 of our budget hearing. That concludes 3.01, Part 2 of the budget hearing. Okay, so now we're at Part 3, regular meeting, if you're following along on the screen or at home. And we have opening items. So 5.01 is the adoption of our agenda this evening. So I will seek a motion for approval,
So move Borgman.
Okay, Borgman. A second?
Second, Hembry.
Okay, second, Hembry. Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed? Okay, motion carries 6-0. We do have Ms. Owsley on phone, so she's going to be the one that kind of chimes in a little bit later than the rest of us because of the distance in phone. Okay, so with the adoption of the agenda, now we move to the approval of minutes, 5.02, the approval of minutes from this special public comment meeting, and I'm also going to bundle that with 5.03, approval of the minutes from the regular meeting, August 8th, 2022. I'll seek a motion.
Move to approve.
Second, Borgman.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Okay, now we're going to move on to communication items. 6.01, the superintendent's report. Dr. Hubbard.
Thank you, board member. We are so glad to have students back in our schools. We've now been in school for 8 days and we're off to a great start. To help launch the school year, we had a bit of help from Shawnee Mission North Senior Elijah Penjada, who helped highlight the fact that we are one Shawnee Mission.
We come from 14 cities, from the east, north, northwest, south, and west. We are made up of nearly 50 school communities. In Shawnee Mission, we welcome thousands of students from pre-kindergarten through 12th grade, each with unlimited possibilities yet to be discovered. Our students are met along the way by talented, compassionate educators. We are inclusive, we are engaged, and we challenge through every learning opportunity. We are many voices, many stories, and many experiences. Together, we strive toward a common goal, for every student to achieve their full potential. We are one Shawnee Mission.
We are one Shawnee Mission. We are one Shawnee Mission.
We are one Shawnee Mission.
We are one Shawnee Mission. We are one Shawnee Mission.
So just a quick special thanks to Elijah and everyone who played a role in that video. The leadership team and I have enjoyed visiting schools this year. We've seen a lot of work to help students feel like they belong in their new classes and a lot of collaboration to help students begin on the right foot. I want to thank everyone for their hard work to get us off to such a great start. So free and reduced lunch application, there is still time for families to apply for free and reduced lunch. We want to make sure everyone knows that there can be benefits to applying beyond free or reduced lunch. Qualifying families may obtain funds for their school, as well as reduced costs for certain other school-related resources and discounts on college application fees. We will include a link to more information in the recap and a link with instructions on how to apply. We all know how outstanding Shawnee Mission educators are. Right now is the time to nominate a Shawnee Mission teacher for Teacher of the Year. Shawnee Mission is able to nominate one elementary and one secondary educator for Kansas Teacher of the Year. We'll include a link in the recap with more information and links to the nomination forms. The Fall Breakfast. I want to take a moment and invite everyone to the Shawnee Mission Education Foundation Fall Breakfast coming up soon. This benefit event will start with coffee and conversation at 7 a.m., followed at 7:30 for breakfast, and a program on Thursday, September 22nd, at the Overland Park Convention Center. This is always a fun event, highlighting students, staff, and stories from across the district. I'm looking forward to being part of this event in conversation on stage with several Shawnee Mission students. Reservations start at $50, and we'll include a link in the recap so everyone can reserve their spot for the event. I also want to mention that construction has been underway inside the boardroom and just outside of the boardroom, as I'm sure you all have noticed. We have so many talented students and educators across our district, and soon we will have display cases in this space featuring their work. We're so excited to give our community another opportunity to come to the Center for Academic Achievement and to see the many accomplishments of our students. Thanks to everyone for getting these display cases ready for the presentation. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Hubbard. Okay, we will move on to 6.02 board report. And so we'll go down the list here. SMAC PTA. Ms. Hembry, do you have a report?
I do have a report and update from SMAC PTA. I wanted to first just note for the information of fellow board members that Jim Bockham, who you may know, he was a longtime leader of SMAC PTA. He passed away last week. He still has a young student in our schools. He had been ill for quite some time, but I thought folks would want to know that he'd passed away. Secondly, I wanted to let folks know that SMAC PTA, one of the real important functions that they fill is providing support to PTA leaders throughout the district. So on August 3rd, they hosted 150 different PTA officers for, they call it School of Instruction, and that is just prepping PTA officers for the school year to come. So that was a successful event. And then September 13th, they'll be hosting an event for all principals and PTA presidents to come together and sort of, I'm sure there'll be some comments from Dr. Hubbard, just getting everybody kind of hyped up for the school year. And finally, the clothing exchange is now open for the school year. It is alternating Thursday evenings and Friday mornings every week. So lots of updates from SMAC PTA. And I know you're going to ask me about Shawnee Mission Education Foundation next.
Okay. Shawnee Mission Education Foundation, yes.
I was just going to hype the breakfast. It's coming. It's in person. They always do such a really nice job of profiling everything that the foundation does. I think it sort of operates in the background sometimes, but there is some incredible programming going on, some new programming being announced. They do a really nice job of highlighting and featuring specific students. So I'd encourage anyone who wants to get a real feel for the foundation and what they do to be there.
Awesome. Okay, KASB Board of Directors, Mr. Stratton.
Thank you. The KASB Board will be meeting this weekend in Topeka. It'll be Friday and Saturday. This is the annual board meeting to which the Legislative Committee also participates, so they will be in Topeka working on legislative platform as well. And then the primary focus is to develop the programming and the agenda for the convention in Wichita, which is in early November.
Thank you. KASB Legislative Committee, Ms. Owsley.
Yes, we're meeting this weekend on Saturday to go over the legislative platform.
Okay. And KASB Nominating Committee, Ms. Borgman.
Yeah, thank you. We had the opportunity as the nominating committee to hear from 2 candidates for KASB president, and so I will update the board in September, and then we will need to vote as a board for which candidate we want to go with. And so I will have much more information here in the coming weeks, and then plan to vote in October. And there will be videos so you can see and hear from each candidate on your own. But again, I will have a more thorough report here in the coming weeks.
Thank you. Okay, Policy Review Committee, that would be me. We actually met this afternoon at 3:30, and we discussed 6 different policies, and they basically came out of the KASB updates that came out in June or July this summer. And so we will be bringing those to you on a first read in September, I believe, and then for second read at one of the meetings in October. So anyway, look for those. And then Finance and Facilities, Mr. Stratton, do you have anything?
Yes, thanks. The Finance and Facilities Committee is meeting this Thursday at 4 o'clock. It'll be here in the boardroom. It's also available to be viewed online on our YouTube channel as well. And it's just a reminder that all the previous meetings can also be found of the Finance and Facilities Committee, where a lot of the items that we'll be voting on tonight have been discussed since early spring. So a lot of detailed information was presented at those meetings, and the video is available online. You can watch those as well. Secondly, the committee will be joining us for the tour when we do the hard hat tour of Deemer in September.
Awesome. Okay, and the real world learning team, Ms. Boyd-Nerona, do you have an update?
Yes, very happy to report.
Is your mic on? Is your mic on?
The light is on.
Okay, just step,
okay.
Yeah, get up.
Very happy to report that they will be hosting their first annual Career Expo for juniors and seniors in our high schools this Friday, August 26th from 9 a.m. until noon here at the Center for Academic Achievement. So there will be 2 one-hour sessions for the students to participate in and learn about job shadowing and opportunities for internships with our local partners and businesses in the area. Students can sign up. They must use their district computer. A link will be provided, but their counselors at their school will have more information. Transportation will be provided from the student's home school. More information can be found from your home school's counselor.
Thank you for that. Okay, so that completes our board reports. So we will move on to 6.03, which is the board financial report. And I'll turn it over to Dr. Hubbard or Mr. Knapp, or if anyone has questions about.
I'm going to pass to Mr. Knapp.
Mr. Knapp?
Yes, so tonight's the board financial.
Yep. Nope. There you are.
Okay. So tonight is the July 2022 board financial reports. It's the first month of the new fiscal year, so there's not a lot of activity there. Also attached to the board item is ESSER 2. So we have about $473,000 left to spend there. So all the summer payrolls have posted, and we'll prioritize that spending as we continue into our second year of our ESSER plan. And then on a positive note, ESSER 3 was approved by the Kansas State Board of Education at their August meeting, so we will be able to start drawing that down in the month of September. And that concludes my report. If you have any questions.
Do any of the board members have any questions for Mr. Knapp?
Real quick one.
Mr. Stratton?
This is only the first month, so obviously we discussed one snapshot of 1 month. Can you remind us of the state revenue when that's allocated to the districts? Because right now it shows just 4% of the monies are here, and at what point do other dollars from the state come in? Is there a schedule?
Yeah, so general state aid, we draw that down from July through December. So we'll submit a request, and then they forward that to us. Then starting in January, then a certain percent is allocated to the districts through the end of the year in June. And the reason they do that is because we start getting our Johnson County tax collection in January.
Great, thank you.
Yes.
Anybody else? Okay, we will move on then to the next item. Okay, which would be 8.01, approval of the consent items. I will seek a motion unless there's something that someone wants to remove from the consent agenda.
Move to approve. Borgman.
Thank you.
Second, Humphrey.
Thank you. Okay. So this is for all of the items in the 9 series and the one that's in the 10 series consent bond. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries 6 to 0. Okay, so that moves us down to the action items. So that would be 11.01, approval of the use of federal ESSER 3 funds to provide a one-time $700 retention payment to all qualifying SMSD employees. And I will pass this to Dr. Hubbard.
Yes, so as Mr. Knapp mentioned, our ESSER 3 application was approved by KSDE in August. And one of the items in the ESSER 3 application was to provide a retention bonus to those that qualify, and there are qualifying factors, but being, returning from last year is the main point of that. And it's just to retain employees through the pandemic, as staffing has been very difficult. So we are happy to be recommending a $700 retention payment for all employees in the Shawnee Mission School District.
Do any of the board members have questions or comments about that?
I was going to confirm, Michelle, this is for all employees certified and classified?
Yes.
It's provided, I know there's some like dates of service and commitments, but it's,
Assuming you qualify, every employee.
okay, thank you.
And maybe I should get my motion and my second, and then we can have any other discussion too. So, motion,
So moved, Hembry?
Hembry?
Second, Borgman.
Okay. So now, any other discussion? Sorry, a little out of order there. Any other questions or anything? No? Okay. All right, we are ready to vote then. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Hold on, I don't think we heard from Ms. Owsley. Ms. Owsley, are you still there?
I said, I said aye.
Oh, okay, sorry, I didn't hear you. Okay, sorry about that.
No worries.
Okay, motion carries 6-0 then. Wanted to make sure about that. Okay, so now we move on to 11.02, which is the resolution to adopt the revenue neutral tax rate. And I am going to look towards Ms. Borgman to read the resolution in its entirety, and then we'll get a second, and then we can discuss and then vote.
Thank you. A resolution expressing the property taxation policy of USD 512 Shawnee Mission School District with respect to exceeding the revenue-neutral tax rate for financing the annual budget for 2022-2023. Whereas 2022 House Bill 2239, amending K.S.A. 79-2988, provides that a levy of property taxes to finance the 2022-2023 budget of USD 512 exceeds the revenue-neutral tax rate to finance the 2022-2023 budget of USD 512 be authorized by a resolution. Now, therefore, be it resolved by USD 512 that the 2022-2023 budget with a levy of property taxes exceeding the revenue-neutral tax rates calculated for 2022-2023 as adjusted pursuant to 2022 House Bill 2239, amending K.S.A. 79-2988 is hereby adopted. Adopted this 22nd day of August 2022 by USD 512 Shawnee Mission School District and Johnson County, Kansas.
We've just read it, and now I'm looking for a second.
Second, Hembry?
Okay, then is there anybody that wishes to, on the board, that wishes to talk or have a comment or anything about this?
Sure.
Okay.
I just wanted to offer up an opportunity for the superintendent or our director of finance to respond at all to any of the comments that were made. And specifically, there were some comments that were asking some questions about the bond that was passed several years ago and those dollars that the community approved. And so I'm asking if you'd like to speak to this resolution versus what is addressed with the bond that was passed several years ago.
Yeah, in January 21, we took a vote of the community, and a $264 million bond referendum was passed by the community, close to 69%. So those are, that would give us the ability to sell bonds, and we use that for our major construction projects. That cannot be used for day-to-day operating funds. So that's a separate pot of money that it just goes towards construction, and we pay that debt off with the bond and interest fund, which is one of the levies that, that you're going to be voting on here when you approve the budget. The other two are the general fund, which is 20 mills, and that's required by state law. So by being 20 mills and the assessed valuation goes up, that the revenue tax is going to increase. That's just going to happen every year. So that's kind of that's the bulk of it. The The other 5 funds, if you were to add that up, we actually decreased just a small bit. So the biggest drive of that is the 20 mills that is collected at the state level, and that's the general fund mill levy.
So can I zero in on one thing I think you said, Mr. Knapp, which is that a portion of, a not small portion of the taxation of the district is actually required by the state of Kansas. So on the one hand, we do these revenue neutral rate hearings if we exceed that rate, but major portions of these mills are actually required by the state of Kansas as well.
The 20 mills, yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay.
Can you speak to the transparency of this process and just, again, kind of go through just the timeline of how we've arrived at this point? And I just, obviously there's some angst about transparency in this process. And we are certainly all taxpayers here in this room. And so we want to make sure that everybody feels like they have, you know, an understanding of the process. And so if you could just maybe speak to, again, the timeline and the transparency and, you know, just so people maybe have a better understanding of that.
Sure. So the first time we present the budget to the board in the public domain is in April, where we tackle about half of our funds, and we do a workshop to the board, and then we come back in May and do the second one, that's the operating funds. And in those, we address all our funds. We have close to about 36 different separate funds and the tax levies that go with them. We try to estimate to you what those mill levies are going to be. Then we come back and do the formal process that the state statutes require, where we bring it to you, and I think we brought it to you at June for your approval to exceed the revenue rate. Well, we get that information from Johnson County, and then we present it to you, and you voted yes, go ahead. It's okay to exceed. Then we have to publish it in the newspaper. And then once that goes through its time period and approved, then we submit that to the county, and then the county, for the first time this year, did the revenue tax rates were mailed to the community. And then we're here tonight for approval.
And when does your budget process actually start, though? Because the first time you presented it to the board was in April, but when did you
We
actually?
started in October of each year.
Okay.
So about a month from now, we'll get going on the budget for 23-24. And we'll do those building needs and profile assessments of our school buildings that we'll build all the way through the budget developmental process.
Okay. And correct me if I'm wrong, but we are audited every year. And talk about the auditing process, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
And the transparency involved in that, and previous audits, what kinds of feedback we've received.
Yes, we're audited probably 3 times a year. So we have an independent auditor. BT and Company is a auditing firm, and they conduct our audit, and actually they did the field work this week. And they produce a CAFR, or Comprehensive Annual Financial Report. Those are located on our website as well under the Budget and Finance. That's done on a GAAP basis. So that's an independent accounting firm that does those audits. And then KSDE comes in every year around October and does our headcount audit. That determines our weighting, that determines our funding. They look at expenditures for certain of the different weightings. And then the other audit that we have is our special ed department, which they just conducted in the last 2 weeks. And so those 3 audits happen every single year.
And the feedback we've received from our audits?
Our independent audit always goes very well. We don't have any findings there. And that's what rolls into our bond rating. So when we sell our bonds, we have to go through an analysis, and we're AAA rated, and that's based on that financial report.
And if you could just explain once again the AAA rating and what that means for us.
Yeah, so they look at each entity that issue bonds, and there's different ratings. It's similar to your mortgage. So you apply for a personal mortgage. If you're going to have good rating, you're going to have a better interest rate. So in our world, the AAA is the best you can get. If it's AAA, you're going to be able to issue the cheapest debt, which helps your taxpayers. Because when we go to pay that debt off, it's going to take a lot less taxes to pay that debt off, because our interest will be lower. Yeah.
Could I ask just a follow-up question? I think some people made some comments early on about inflation impacting their household budget, which I see and feel. Does inflation end up impacting our budget as a school
Oh,
district?
sure, absolutely. It impacts us. Our natural gas bills are really high right now because of the cost of natural gas on the open market. All our supply costs, we're seeing it in our transportation, can't find positions as well. And so you got to go do contracted services to try to find those positions. So
And
yeah,
I
we
would just
feel
add,
that.
At I think it was the last meeting or maybe the meeting before, we approved the gas budget for our buses, and we increased it by $400,000 or, give or take a little bit, but we see that across the board.
And I know we also reinstituted fees at the elementary level for the first time in a long while, and increased some of the classroom instructional fees for secondary level, because I think we don't want to pass every expense on, but they're real expenses.
I would add the challenges that we're facing with the bond right now, with the price of steel, the price of concrete, the supply chain, the shortage of labor, and a lot of the challenges that we're trying to stay within the budget of that very generous $264 million. But we're certainly fighting a lot of inflationary challenges with that bond and construction company and architects. So it's just one more area.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, this needs to be a roll call vote. That's a little bit different, too, than we're normally used to. But Ms. Windering is going to call the roll, and we're going to vote individually. So yay or nay would be what you say when she calls your name.
Okay, Ms. Goodenburn?
Yay. Yes.
Ms. Borgman?
Yay.
Ms. Boyd-Norona?
Yay.
Ms. Hembry?
Yay.
Ms. Owsley?
Yay.
Mr. Stratton?
Yay.
Okay, so that passes 6-0. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, now we move on to 11.03, which is the resolution to adopt the LOB percentage, and I'm going to look to Mr. Stratton to read that resolution for us.
The language of the resolution reads as follows. Unified School District 512, Johnson County, Kansas. Resolution, be it resolved that the above-named school board, Shawnee Mission School District, shall be authorized to make a local option percentage in the amount of 33% for the 2022-2023 school year. The certificate on this says, this is to certify that the above resolution was duly adopted by the Board of Education of the Unified School District 512, Johnson County, Kansas, on the 22nd day of August 2022.
Do I have a second?
Second, Hembry.
Okay, anybody want to make any comment or have questions about this one? Okay, go ahead.
And I just want to confirm that this is state statute and this isn't any change. This is just something we need to do every year, and it's capped at 33%.
That is correct. Voters approved that as well to be at the 33%.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, I'm going to go ahead, just because we've done it before, we're going to do the roll call vote on this one as well. So, go ahead.
Ms. Goodburn?
Yay?
Ms. Borgman?
Yay.
Ms. Boyd-Norona?
Yay.
Ms. Embry?
Yay.
Ms. Owsley?
Yay.
Mr. Stratton?
Yay.
Okay, passes 6-0. Okay, thank you for that, everyone. Okay, now we're on to 11.04, the adoption of the 2022-2023 budget. And I am going to look to Ms. Hembry to read that.
Yes. Based on budget workshops, the summary of the proposed budget, and the building needs assessment, I move that we adopt the total published budget in the amount of $509,434,136 for the 2022-2023 school year.
Second? Anyone? I'll second it.
Borgman.
Okay, or Ms. Borgman, okay? Okay, any comments or anything from anyone? Oh, yeah.
I would just like
Member.
to acknowledge the work that building leadership teams and building administration did on their needs assessment to give us feedback to build this budget. And while we can't always meet their needs, all of them, right, we do the best we can to ensure that they have the staff needed and the resources needed to ensure student success. We would all like to have more when we could, but this is the hand that we're dealt, and we have great we have kids doing great things in Shawnee Mission School District, so we're really proud of that. But I do want to acknowledge the work, because while we've always done this, we've always done needs assessments, we've always looked at student data, we've always looked at needs. This year the process was much more detailed as a result of a change in state statute, and so our team spent a great deal of summer getting ready for this, so I just want to recognize that work. And it is, as Board Member Hembry mentioned, on the district website under Information Central. There's a whole page in regards to the district profile and building needs. So if people wanted to see those, they are available for review.
Thank you. Mr. Stratton?
Yeah, just a question. I've gone through the needs assessments, and I guess when I went into the process of reading it, I thought it'd be very similar, but actually there was a lot of difference. Can you speak to how those differences are prioritized and managed, just speaking to the fact that not every school has the same needs, and we still have to fit that into one budget?
So we do it in a variety of ways, but probably the easiest way to describe would be that we use a sort of a weighted formula, if you will, especially in regards to assigning specialty staff, interventionist, class size, things like that. But we look at needs such as special education needs, ELL needs, students receiving free and reduced lunch. Someone help me, am I missing any to get them all? I think that's it. I got them all.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Questions? Ms. Housley? Don't want to forget you.
No, I don't have anything further. Thank you, Ms. Goodburn.
Okay, just to remind everyone too, we've already heard it tonight, but we've already sat through many presentations on the budget, and this is just the final action, but we've been talking budget since April formally in the boardroom, and so, and have had access to the needs assessments and all these different documents for a while now. So anyway, okay, so did you motion? We had a second, correct? Okay, so we're ready for the vote. And let's do another roll call vote, just so we put it out there.
Okay. Ms. Goodburn?
Yay.
Ms. Borgman?
Yay.
Ms. Boyd-Norona?
Yay.
Ms. Hembry?
Yay.
Ms. Owsley?
Yay.
And Mr. Stratton?
Yay.
Okay, motion carries, or passes 6-0. Okay, thank you everyone for your work on that, especially on the needs assessments, a new process, well, not new process, but a new formalized process, I suppose, by state statute, and so appreciate all the work that went into that. Okay, 1105, the approval of the agreement between the Board of Education and the Shawnee Mission School District and the NEA Shawnee Mission Parent Educators. Dr. Hubbard?
Yeah, I would just add that, as you all know, we bargain separately with both parent educators as well as school psych, which is next on the list. And so our teams have done a great job, both teams coming to the table, both the district and the parent educators and the district and the school psychs, to come up with these two agreements that you'll be voting on tonight. So we're happy to say this concludes our bargaining for the year with all of the different parties.
I'll seek a motion.
So move, Borgman.
And a second?
Second, Hembry.
Okay, any board members have any questions? Any comments, questions?
I just didn't know if members of the negotiating team wanted to speak to this at all as well. They spent a lot of time working on this on behalf of the board and wanted to see if they'd like to offer up anything.
We had a great conversation back and forth, and we have actually, we agreed to do a subcommittee kind of throughout the year to sort of look at some pay-related pieces for the coming year. I would say my gratitude to the parent educator team, as well as my colleagues, Dr. Jones and Dr. Higgins, who supported the effort.
Thank you.
Anybody else? No? Anybody else? Okay, so it's time to vote then. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Okay, so then 1106 is the approval of the agreement between the Board of Education of Shawnee Mission School District and the school psychologist. Dr. Hubbard, any additional information?
Dr. Schumacher, is there anything you would like to add?
I just think an acknowledgement of the team as well, and to thank our school psychs for all the great work that they do. They're an easy group to work with. They always just want what's similar to our professional employees, and so that's what they received. We continue to do some work on their evaluation with Ms. Dummeline, who's in the back. So just a great group to work with, and we thank them for their service.
Okay, I'll seek a motion. And
So moved, Stratton.
thank you. And a second?
Second, Hembry.
Okay. Any questions from the board or any comments, questions? Looking around, see none. Okay, we'll go ahead and vote then. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Okay, and the last thing in section 11 is the approval of the revised contract with Kelly Services to include para-educators, and I will throw it to Dr. Hubbard.
Yeah, so this isn't the first time we've had the conversation about staffing and since the pandemic, and especially in the area of classified in multiple areas. In the last few board meetings, we've done other contracted services for operations and maintenance, other special education services, OTs, PTs, even classroom teachers. So, and I know we had some public comment on this tonight, so I'm just going to ask Dr. Schumacher to just briefly give us an update on why this item is here and the situation that we're in.
Yeah, so I too wanted to thank the speaker who came to public comment and asked some really important questions that we're glad to clarify. So like all districts, we are struggling with hiring para-educators as well as many other classified staff members. Just last week, we reached out to our colleagues in Blue Valley and Olathe. They have just about as many or more vacancies than we do. We're in line as far as our pay with the majority of our neighboring districts. As you know, one of our neighbors last year bumped their rates for their paras, and with that, they did not see any relief. They still have a very high number of vacancies for those para positions. Not that that's not the right thing to do. I think all of us would like to increase pay for a lot of our employees, and so that's not a bad thing what they did, but they're not seeing any relief from it. In fact, they're getting a little pressure from some of their other classified work groups who are saying, what about us, right? And even with that, they're, again, not seeing much relief. So we're about in line. One of the questions that came up about the agreement that is in front of you is how much these Kelly para subs would make. One of the things that we were very, very conscious of was not that they would not be making more than our paras. Our paras work incredibly hard. We don't want to discredit the work that they do for our kids and for our schools. And so when we worked with Kelly on this agreement, we were adamant that they could not make more than what our folks do. So that first line that you see, that $14 for para 1, that's what our paras make, about that. We should also keep in mind that our paras get full benefits, and so that's about a $9,000 fringe benefit on top of that. And then, of course, some CAPERS benefits, some CAPERS retirement benefits as well. So there's clearly an advantage, in my opinion, in working for the Shawnee Mission School District rather than Kelly. Not that we don't want them trying to partner with Kelly either. The $15 is what our programmatic paras make, and so SLC classrooms, ALC classrooms, folks like that, that's about what our paras make as well. The line to the far right is what we will actually be paying per hour. So that includes the administrative cost that we would pay Kelly to recruit them. We need to try everything, guys. We have about 86 para openings, and Kelly came to us and said, hey, you know, we've had success filling your subs. Give us a shot at this. If we can't do it, it doesn't cost you any money, and so we only pay if they put people into these roles. So given the vacancies we have, we think it's worth the shot to give Kelly a crack at it.
Okay, I will seek a motion first and then a second, and then we'll have discussion if anyone has any questions or anything.
Move approval, Borgman.
Second, Boyd Nerona.
Thank you. Okay, any questions from my fellow board members or comments? Ms. Borgman?
If this is approved, how soon could Kelly post the openings?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. What, I'll go ahead.
Oh, no.
What kind of relief do you anticipate this to provide in our district?
Well, we gave them authorization to try 20, and so we have 86 openings. We'll work with Sherry and her team and put them in our highest need areas immediately. So it'll provide some relief. If we have success, we'll give them some, we'll come back to you and seek some authorization to give them a little more authorization to hire some more.
Okay. Oh, Ms. Embry.
Sorry, I'm curious, do we have any indication of what Kelly will be doing differently than what we have already done? And
Yeah,
could we do that?
it's a great
then
question.
ourselves?
I mean, they're a national organization, right? So they have the full strength and power of who they are. They have a lot more recruiting resources, frankly, than we do. And so I don't know right off the top of my head, but they're convinced that, you know, give us a shot. And if they're successful, fantastic. It's not going to hurt us.
And the $9,000 direct hire, that is if Kelly recruits someone into a para, I'm almost going to call it like a contracted para position, and we think they're amazing and we want to hire them and they want to be hired, we would essentially, it's almost like a head hunting fee.
Yep, we incur the cost for that. So it's a pretty standard clause within any of these contracts that if we try to hire one of their employees, that there's a fee associated with that. But that doesn't fall onto the employee, that falls to the district.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have any other districts tried this with Kelly, or are we kind
No,
of, it's a pilot for us
again,
and a pilot?
Yeah, I've reached out to the other Johnson County folks and they're scratching their heads. And so I told them we're going to try this. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go down a similar road in the future.
Okay, anybody else have any questions or comments? Ms. Owsley?
Don't want to forget you.
Thanks, I don't have any comments right now.
Okay. All right, let me get back to my screen then really quick. Okay, so we have a motion and a second, so I will call for a vote. All those in favor of 11.07, the approval of revised contract with Kelly Services to include paraeducators, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Okay. We hope to hear great news in the future from you, Dr.
I'll let you know.
Schumacher. Okay, so comments from board members. That would be the last thing on our agenda this evening. And I'm just going to start with Ms. Borgman.
Yes. Just wanted to quickly say it was so wonderful to see all of the elementary students today from Highlands do the Pledge of Allegiance. That was the first time as a board member I've gotten to experience that. And so that just was amazing. And it's our first, yeah, it's our first time. And also, Terry, we know that you're going to be gone for a few weeks. And so I just want to let you know that we'll miss you and thanks for all you do for us.
Mr. Stratton?
Nothing else other than to say it's great to have the new school year going and to look across the neighborhoods, across social media, and see all the wonderful pictures of kids back in school and all our staff ready to receive them.
Thank you. Ms. Embry?
I just want to give a shout out for like transitions. We have a new middle schooler in our household and a new kindergarten student in our household. And I always knew our district was great at like day-to-day education, but seeing how beautifully the district has navigated their transitions into those new spaces, popsicle pop-ins and sixth grade Olympics and all of these little things that feel like really big things when your family's in the middle of a transition. I'm incredibly grateful for all the thought that we have put into those things, and I think they happen over time, and you don't appreciate them until you feel them. So thank you to everyone who makes those happen.
Ms. Boyd-Nerona?
As the board liaison for the Real World Learning, I just want to say personally that I'm proud of the fact that that concept is conscious of the impact of economies of scale in the community when we partner with local businesses and entities that want to work with the future of this economy and the human impact of that. So I look forward to more collaboration and innovation out of the Real World Learning Program this year and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Owsley, I didn't forget you.
I didn't think you had. I wanted to just give a shout out to the team that put together the needs analysis for all the buildings. I guess this is my fifth budget on the board, and I know that the process this year was slightly different due to the updates from the state requirements, and having, had 3 kids in each of the buildings for a while, going through and being able to see each of the individual buildings' assessments for what's needed at the elementary level, the middle school level, and the high school level, and the amount of work it took to put all of that together. I know we've done a needs assessment prior to this year, but having it all put together and have it be public-facing. So for parents at home, you can go to the budget website on the district's webpage, and you can click through and look at the assessments for each building and what our district is assessing what that building would need to fully thrive. And a lot of times it comes down to budgetary funding from Topeka. So, I look at the needs for some of the buildings with regards to paras, and knowing that we're working really hard with Kelly to bring in additional paras, and knowing that special education funding is fallen woefully short, and knowing that, the funding shortages are directly related to these needs assessments that we're putting together as a district. So the level of detail is really impressive, and I appreciate the hard work that went in from the team to make it happen. So that was all my comments for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. You stole mine, so I won't go on, but thank you for the needs assessments and to the team that worked on it, because I know it was a lot of people. I just wanted to say we miss you, Dr. Sinclair, and we look forward to you coming back. I also wanted to say that Shawnee, by the time we meet the next time, which I think is September 19th, the Shawnee Mission North will have already celebrated their 100th anniversary, which happens the weekend of the 9th, 10th, and 11th. There's information on North's website if you're interested. Of course, there'll be a parade the afternoon of the 9th and a football game, and then the 10th there's building tours. And I would encourage any community member, if you're interested, or especially if you're a North alum, to attend that weekend in some fashion. So information's on their website, and so I'm really excited to participate in those activities and celebrate along with them, as my 2 sons and my father all graduated from North. I did not, but I'm the North area rep, so I will be there. So I think that concludes our meeting tonight. Thank you all for putting up with me this evening, and we will convene again on September 19th, 2022. Thank you all for coming.